This is the best experience with your host, Nick Best and the Angry Dad. And today we got a guest. But before we get into that, let's thank our podcast sponsors Barbell Apparel, premium athletic wear engineered for performance with a tailored athletic fit, refined clothing for an athletic body type. Evolution Athletics, a supportive gear company owned by Brian Shaw, four-time world's strongest man and strongest man on earth. We believe in all athletes supporting their journey towards greatness. Iced Up Industries. Look, the best cold plunges that turn into hot tubs. You get $50 off with code BEST at checkout. Iced Up Industries. Nick takes cold plunges, cold baths almost every day.
And they're less than $2,400.
Exactly. So get hooked up. Please use the links in the notes. It really helps us out. We appreciate it. And today's guest, we have Lucas Hatton. All right. America's Strongest Man 2023, North America's Strongest Man 2023, and amateur Arnold second. There you go. Sorry. Yeah, I was trying to read it, but it just didn't pop in my head.
Okay.
But man, with everything that you've gone on, and now sitting in a hotel room with Nick Best, cornered by two big men.
Three, you're not small. So, no, it's pretty cool. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's been awesome.
Been a good year, huh?
Yeah. I basically spent 3 years not winning and finally got that big win. So I think that time away, like it was just sweeter when it finally happened.
Mm-hmm.
And just financially and everything going on in my life, like I needed that ASN win.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like the right time of everything coming together, and felt like, the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years was kind of worth it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've been through this a lot. Like there's periods where it doesn't feel like it's worth it,
Oh, well,
or it's harder during those periods.
well, yeah, we did the sport out of love because literally there was no money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got second in America's Strongest Man in 2007, and it was like $2,200.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Derek won, and I'm not sure what it was, but I think it was like $4,000.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. You did the sport because you loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, we still paid for all of our own airfare. Everything. Nothing was our food, our hotel, all of it. We had to take care of all that ourselves. And I mean, even America's Strongest Man that year was in like a parking lot kind of area. We were in sight of the Panther Stadium where they play the football stuff. So, but it's a lot different now.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where I've had one show where someone helped with some travel, and it's just it's kind of cool to go from that. Like, we'd all, I mean, a lot of us would still do this for free, and I still would. Like, I mean, most people for their entire career do it for free. People sacrificed a lot of stuff for this.
A lot of time, a lot of vacation,
to do it for free. Yeah. It was cool to finally get, a little bit out of it as far as financial, aside from like, the memories and the stories and the experiences and how much better you get at just like do your own development. Like that's worth it on its own. But yeah.
So what do you think was the biggest change in the way you approach everything? Or did you just keep maturing over the last 3 years? And it's just a natural accumulation of where you were.
Yeah, no, I'm really thankful for those seconds, those thirds. Last year OSG was fourth. So might as well be second with like top three going to Giants. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if I would have had those wins at that moment and I went to that next level, I don't think I was quite ready. Right. I'm thankful for the timeline that I had. And it's just like, that show was 13 or 14 shows into competing. And it was finally building on that base, and like it was the calmest I've ever been competing. It was good, man. It was just great.
It's kind of neat how once you get a decent amount of experience, you still get the butterflies, you still get nervous, but the calmness and the approach to it is different. It's like, okay, I've been here, I've done this, I know what to expect from here. So I know I'm not going to sleep as good as I normally would. So I'll get really good sleep the night before, 2 nights before, and then I'll just sleep. If I get great sleep the night before, great. If I don't, it's no big deal. Like I'm going to function on all cylinders, regardless of that fact. And you get confidence in your prep, and knowing what's going on those couple days before.
It was one of those things. Like, I mean, how many events, like standard strongman events, we've done 30, 40, 50 times, right? And the show, I didn't actually plan on doing it. I signed up a week out because some stuff fell through, and they're like, "Oh, they're putting up 25 grand for first." I'm like, "Well, let's do it." But it was all like my favorite events, stuff I'd all done before. I mean, I've kind of lived in that like Strongman Corp ecosystem of all their shows, so I've used half that equipment before. James likes to recycle all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So in some sense, like I didn't prep, but like my last few shows prior were prep for the show.
Correct.
Yeah, and it all just built.
Now there's two like schools when it comes to that, because you have the Brian Shaw kind of show up and do the big shows and not compete very often.
Yeah.
And then you have this Adonis thing of do every single show, but almost all these shows were training for him. So that's kind of how he got training in. So both were clearly very successful.
Yeah.
So you have the epitome of both and the experience of both to like look at and see which one apply.
And I think I've kind of rounded the corner finally of like before it was like I needed that like 8 to 12 week prep for a show, and it's like you know how it goes. Like in the future, there'll probably be some invites that come 2 weeks out. You just gotta go.
They're gonna be.
The opportunity will come, and you gotta go, and like you just gotta trust that like you know that mound of experience that just keeps building and building, and you know it's. I think if you would ask me 2 years ago to step into a show like a week in advance, like hell no, I'm not gonna do that.
I'm not ready.
You know, whatever, man.
Just wait till you get that thing where, hey, we're gonna have you come out to Worlds this year, and you're like, okay, cool, and they're like, so you could be, and this was the COVID year, one of the COVID years. You could be. We're not sure if Magnus is gonna get here, not sure if Eddie's gonna get here. So we could have you come out and be the equipment tester, or
same thing with Tom Evans last year. Remember, he went in as an.
No. This is completely different. Because I wasn't training for anything.
Oh yeah. No. For you, it's a little different. Yeah.
This was, you know, I was going to come and either do announcing, you know, commentary or equipment testing, or I was the last alternate possibly available, and Colin called me and was like, hey, make sure you bring your kit just in case.
Just in case.
I'm like, okay, Colin, I just got my elbows done in June. I got both cleaned out. I had like 2 centimeter bone chips in them and stuff. And so got my elbows cleaned out. Then I went down to Bio Accelerator and got stem cells. And you're not supposed to do anything at all for a month after that. And it was like right at a month. And they're like, so I get off the plane, and Colin's like, hey, you're here. I'm like, yeah, thanks. And he's like, did you bring a kit? I'm like, yeah. Why? I'm like, well, 2 guys couldn't even get on the airplanes because they tested positive before they got on the airplane. And then 2 guys tested positive right when they got there. Yes, and Claiborne was one of them. And
how many guys did they pulled quite a few guys out of the woodwork right at the end. So it wasn't that year they also pulled Gabe Pena as well. Yeah, it's wild, man.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. So yes, be ready at all times. You never know.
Was that your I guess that was the biggest. That's about as tight as possible. A surprise of competing.
Get off the plane.
Get off the plane.
Bring your kit just in case. You know, I know you haven't been training, and you haven't been doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, I know you just did all these things, but bring your kit just in case. I'm like, okay. Which to me, I look at it as a blessing, actually, because it gave me my 10th one.
Yeah.
And there's only 7 of us that have done 10.
Yeah.
So more.
Yeah. Is it Jonas is like 16, 17?
Oh yeah.
Sees the most? Or is it Mark?
Felix has got the most. And next I think is Brian, and then Z.
Damn. That's a lot strong. That's a lot strong, man.
Z and Brian, it's like right there, but it's 11. Brian's made the most consecutive finals, so
yeah. It's like everyone forgets how many that Z went to before he won. Like, oh yeah, it's a journalist, just whole career of winning. Like he had a lot of whole career of second. It made it better.
Everyone's got to start somewhere.
Second or third. But that experience paid off.
Yeah.
And he really.
I feel like in the case of Worlds too. I mean, Thor kind of had the same trajectory. Like, let's podium for 5, 6, 7 years, and then finally win the thing.
Finally,
God, I bet that was sweet when he finally did it. God,
I'll definitely say it's a good feeling.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, you made 2 finals.
Made 2 finals, and I made IFSA World Finals too.
Yeah.
So 3 total. 2 for Worlds Finals.
Because was there 2 years of IFSA or 3? Because there's
3. There was 3.
You did 2 of them.
Mhm.
And you said that was off of America's.
Yeah, like a strongest man. Yeah, got the invites from there.
Mhm.
So that was kind of crazy. Because the first year
Mhm.
I was sixth at ASM. My
Mhm.
first year going.
Yeah.
It was my third show as pro. I only did 3 amateur shows.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about, like that transition from powerlifting into strongman.
It-
It was just seemed like the next logical thing, or what was the path?
so basically, for me, well, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey, when
No,
you're a fan, you're a fan. You
no,
got
no,
questions. Nothing, man.
it's actually nice to have people ask me questions. So it was kind of cool. I did all that powerlifting. I stopped in 2001. And then 2004, I go to
Mhm.
Mark Foley and I won worlds in powerlifting and nationals the same year in
Yeah.
'96. And he was the strength coach at UNLV.
Mhm.
And I bumped in, hey, we're having a strongman contest. You should come check it out and watch. No, not give it a shot, just come watch. And then Grant Higa was in there, and Carl Gillingham was in there, John Henderson was in it, Phil Pfister was in it. There was a lot of guys that were in the show. And I get there and I'm watching the show, and then I see him get paid
Mhm.
afterwards. I was like, wow. And my son was me, Dad, you're pretty strong. You should do this. This is cool. And I was like, good idea, kid. And he was like, dude,
Yeah.
just this little towhead that
Yeah.
was this big. And
Okay.
that was pretty much what got me into it. I did a contest at March Air Force Base in 2004 and was right in the middle of the pack.
Mhm.
Um, and it was in the middle of the pack because I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, no, I'm strong enough to do this. I just
Gotta figure this thing out.
have no idea. Like the Conan's wheel, I think I got second.
Mhm.
And the Conan's wheel, the yoke, like I didn't even know what the hell
Yeah.
that was.
Baby deer legs.
But I made it the whole distance.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay. And then pulling the airplane, we pulled the F4 Phantom fighter jet. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was actually really cool. I'd
Mhm.
love to do that again now that I know how to do it.
Yeah.
It's like how many times you look back at
Air Force, you just hear us. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, it was pretty cool. So that's kind of where it started. I went to that one, was in the middle of the pack. Then I went and did another one in November in Colorado.
Yeah.
And the guy that had gotten fourth at NAS Nationals was competing in it. Everybody's like, oh my God, he's going to beat everybody.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, well, I beat him as bad as he beat everybody else.
Yeah.
The 6 events, I got first in 5 of them, and I got second in the log.
Yeah.
Shocker. And then he got second in everything, and then first in the log.
Sure.
So it was from that point on, I kind of knew. So I was qualified for nationals. I went to Chad Coy's contest in Indiana and got second by a point.
Mhm.
And the two of us, it was a point when the amateur and the pros actually competed and like they're thrown in there and the top amateur or whatever position and that was a pro card.
Mhm.
And but the two of us beat all the pros. And then I was like, and Chad Coy's looking at me, he's like, you need to keep going.
Yeah.
You
Keep doing this.
I slaughtered the farmers. Like
Yeah.
I just literally sprinted, and I think it was like 3:30, and I was like the course, and it was like 100 feet, and I did it in something crazy, like 12 or 13 seconds.
Just hauling ass.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh yeah, you got to keep doing this. You just don't have any experience. Go to Van's contest in a month and get some more experience. So I go to Van Hatfield's contest, and there was like 7 pros in that one.
Yeah.
And Travis Hortmeyer was there, Kevin Nee was there, Grant was there. There's a bunch of guys there, and like I got second in 2 events,
Mhm.
but none of the amateurs were in there. So I got
Yeah.
a massive, I picked up 6 there. I won the deadlift. I was the first amateur to break the 800-pound deadlift.
Yeah.
In strongman, and I beat Travis's record, which was good. He was pissed. And then Kevin finished at 765. Travis and I both pulled 765. Travis looks at me and goes, oh, he pulled 765, which broke Travis's record because it was 750 or 755 or something. He's like, you want 800? I'm like, yeah, put it on. You sure? I'm like, yeah, put it on.
Yeah, let's do it.
And he pulls it, gets to his knees and drops it. I'm like, are you done?
Yeah.
And he's like looking at me like,
Insert powerlifter. Let's go.
boom, pulled it right up.
My bread and butter.
Yeah.
At that point, that was it, because like the frame, Kevin and me got it off the start. Nobody else got it off the start. Travis and I both finished it. I dropped it in the middle and finished.
Mm-hmm.
So with all those points, I didn't even need to do stones. I already got my
Yeah,
quick hard.
already got it. Nice, man.
But that's kind of how the whole thing kind of got started.
Yeah, I always like to ask stuff like that because,
Mhm.
like, I mean, we talked about last night. You were saying you've been lifting longer than I've been alive, and
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, no, but where I'm going with this,
my
like,
first powerlifting meet was in '85.
yeah, I was born in '95, but like you can look back at like Strongman Archive or something like that, but like it doesn't fill the gaps of like the smaller shows and like the new shows like ASM Worlds and like all the big stuff.
Yeah.
It was like you never really see like the path people took to get there, and that's always fascinating.
It's pretty cool. I'm definitely an overachiever, and
Yeah.
I just hard nosed and
Yeah.
just wouldn't accept less for myself. And no matter what, I just
Going.
kept moving forwards. And I mean, I did it for the love of the sport. I love the training.
Yeah.
I did it because I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it to get rich and famous.
And he takes the training very serious. It's one of the things that, like, working with Nick, I see. It's because, like, there's no, of course, there's talking, playing around, but when it's time to dial in, the room gets quiet and it's time to work. And that's one of the biggest differences I see, because, like, there's a lot of people that have been in training rooms and it's everyone's having fun, but with Nick, you're having fun, but oh no, it's game time.
Yeah.
He trains like it's game time.
It's upset time. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Serious mode.
Yeah, and it's kind of how I do things. I don't do a ton of sets of things.
Mm-hmm.
I'll warm up, get to my work weight, hit my target, and move on to the next thing. Is certain philosophies of like stimulate, don't annihilate is an old Lee Haney thing, but it's true.
Yeah.
And then, but also the same principle with the blood and guts and the Menser stuff of 1 to 2 heavy sets, no more than 8 sets per body part, that type of thing. Also, when you're training, works pretty good. Strongman, we have events. So, I mean, you train 5 events in a day. You just did a whole contest in a day.
Yeah.
And if you're training like near or at contest weight, if you're able to do the contest weight in training and get going, train with it.
Yeah.
It's all you do is and train in the order the events are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna know what it feels like.
I feel like with more and more like actual strongman gyms popping up, that style of like your event day is kind of going away because people used to like drive their 2 hours to that one gym, that one guy's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Like I feel like in the last few years, there's been a lot more like of the like strength coaches from outside of the sport coming into the sport, and I'm curious what that does. As far as the next few years, I mean, training has gotten better in a lot of senses, but like in some senses, it's like we're overanalyzing to just do the work.
Oh, it's that way with all kinds.
Yeah.
There's certain people that talk about training that are very educated book wise. They're behind.
Yeah.
And they're 20 years behind and they don't know it. I mean, how long does it take muscle to recover from a workout?
Could be a couple days.
Okay. How long does it take tendons to heal from a workout?
A week or two, depending on isn't it longer?
It's like
significantly longer.
Like a week.
Yeah.
Who trains on that cycle?
A lot of Olympic weightlifters.
Who trains on a tendons heal in a week cycle? Not Olympic lifters.
They do like their 10-day cycles. At least as their heavy top sets.
Well, they're heavy, but any work on the tendons before they're healed is causing more damage, which is stopping the healing. So they're still not healed. Who trains on a schedule when their tendons are ready to go?
Not many people. Yeah.
The industry is completely fucking ass backwards, and nobody knows it or realizes it. It doesn't matter how fast your muscles heal. The muscles are going to heal. It matters how fast your tendons heal.
Yeah.
And if you train right when they're ready to be healed, every time you go into them, you're going to progress without getting hurt. Much longer.
Yeah. It's like people will go. I mean, yeah, it's true because the muscle belly injuries is so much more rare than that. It's all connective tissue. Yeah. It's true.
And then once you have a connective tissue tear and healing, I mean, in all honesty, you can come back fairly fast. but you're still looking anywhere between 6 months to where you can start really training without
Yeah.
worrying about it, and then another 5 months to get back to where you were. And
Mhm.
so you're still looking at a year,
Set back a year. Yeah.
set back a year, it just costs you a year. So it's a year of training and not
Mhm.
advancing on your lifts. And that's pretty costly,
Yeah.
especially as you get older.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't have that many years to pitch in the toilet and
Mhm.
come back the next year. So you're very focused on how long it takes to connect the tissue.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that 6 months to a year of being off, that's where I'm at. Like as far as um, I don't know if we talked about last night, but I'm not doing the show this weekend.
Mhm,
Just because I've been having a bicep issue. Like
mhm,
I got that invite for the Arnold in a few months. And I'm like,
mhm,
if I'm out 6 months to a year,
Mhm.
like, and I'm at the stage of the career too. Like I feel like, let's say I got hurt,
mhm.
it's not like Jan Todd's gonna be like, well, we'll give you an invite next year when you're healed. It's like maybe, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know I'm the new guy on that list. Like it's list of killers that have podiumed at Worlds and done all this stuff. Like I
yeah.
got my shot. I'm thankful for it. I can't waste it.
Yeah.
With stuff like that with Jan, if you've made her
Yeah.
like vision,
Hmm.
if that did happen and you had to
Yeah.
come back and perform at that level again, it'll be the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not gonna
But you still
Which
don't want
is
to cheat.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No, that's understandable.
First big invite. Well, pop a bicep off doing OSG.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no. It's
yeah.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's at the. I mean, I'm sure you've been there where you go pick up a bag, it just doesn't feel right. There's a little bit of lag, and
Mhm.
it's hurting right where it connects. Like,
Yeah.
let's
Well,
let's yeah.
was it last year? Corey Butler at OSG, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Saying,
Yeah.
I talked about picking up a bag. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And that just, but it's good that you caught that because it's like, yeah, I don't want to chance this. There's a lot on the.
Hmm. Well, everybody I talk to, it seems like I'm pretty happy that I, felt some discomfort first. 'Cause I feel like most people, when they talk about biceps, it's like I felt nothing and it was
Yeah.
gone, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You down both?
yeah. But one was pitching baseball, and the other one, this one was strongman.
Yeah.
This was 5 weeks before IFSA Worlds in 2007.
So that third one that you didn't, would that be the third one you didn't do,
No, that
or
was the second.
the second one?
I still went.
You still went to the show?
Yeah, because it was a muscle belly tear. I don't remember what I said about the tendon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've only injured one tendon.
Yeah.
That's my lat.
Yeah.
And that was, I know what happened. And I
Hmm.
did something fun but stupid 3 weeks before.
Mm.
And I tried to, so the easiest way to explain it to people is I tried to pick up a 440-pound dumbbell, giant dumbbell with one hand.
Okay. Yeah.
And I got it off the ground.
Yeah.
So,
Worth it? Probably not.
yeah, I was, and then the very wise person turned and looked at me and goes, you should probably not, you have a contest coming up, don't you? I'm like, yes, sir. And he's like, you probably shouldn't do that contest in a couple of weeks. I'm like,
Mhm.
I think it's not too bad. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Bing.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like it's always when people try to force that one last contest or like get one more out of the year,
Mhm.
your body's giving you those warning signs. It's like,
right.
yeah, it's kind of where I feel like I'm at right now. It's like,
Yeah.
And that's one of the things Nick always talks about is like,
Read your body.
yes, read your body, but also too is like you see people come in and rush every show.
mhm,
When you gotta pick and choose when you do. It's good to do the shows,
mhm,
but if you're doing too much and you burned your body out and you're not
Yeah.
reading those signs,
mhm.
just like you said, it's that last.
Like it's those guys that do like every SCL show. Or I was talking to a couple of Canadian guys last night. They all do
Oh,
JF circuit up
and
there. They all compete all the time. It's like, how do you do that?
They don't have a choice.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah,
That
that's
one's not,
JF style.
that's not one that's overly optional. It is. It is. And it's it's good and it's bad. It has its good points, it has its bad points. The bad points are you're not gonna have a lot of guys last a long period of time.
Yeah,
The good part is you're gonna find the guys that are really freaking built
just
built for it.
And that's those guys that come down here.
you're
Look
gonna
at Hoover.
yeah.
you're gonna turn. Well, Hoover didn't come up that way.
Oh, I thought he did.
No, he
Yeah.
hasn't done the
Oh,
circuit
I
up
thought he
there.
did. Yeah, I swear I thought he did.
No, he literally.
No, a lot of those guys like they wish he would at least Canada's strongest man because I'm sure they let him come.
Yeah.
I mean he's strongest man on the planet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think many people realize how many really, really good pros are up in Canada, and it's because of that circuit.
Mhm.
Like, I could see 4 or 5 guys this weekend at OSG make the final from Canada.
Yeah.
It could be half the final Canadian,
Mhm.
and nobody knows these guys. They're like, "Oh, Maxime's good." It's like there's 5 or 6 other guys that
The
are damn near just as good as him, like, and they can deadlift,
Yeah.
right? Like,
yeah.
dude, there's some good guys up there.
It'll be good to see, you know, Max come back
Yeah,
to 100%
Yeah.
because that was
he got set back quite a bit last year.
Oh, well, after breaking his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we seen him at Worlds in Sacramento, and man,
He's-
he was looking, he was on fire.
he was huge. in
Yeah,
that show.
yeah,
The thing is I remember being there at like some of his first contests
Yeah,
when he's just this young kid that's just tough as nails and comes in. And you're like, look at the heart on this dude.
mm,
I mean, there's just no quit in him. And you're just like, wow, he's going to be really scary. And then
yeah. They
he ends up being really
those,
scary.
those like meat grinder events are just
Mhm.
like an arm over arm or like
Yeah.
something that's gonna hurt. And
Yeah.
he's just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, he I bet North America's I think he zeroed the deadlift
Mhm.
and still was just off the podium because he killed everything else.
Yeah.
His 8 event show, he almost had enough time to get back, and that was just after the injury too. Like one of his first shows back. I was like, that dude's good,
Warwick was a lot of fun.
dude.
It's
I'm really happy I got to go up to that show.
it's a neat thing, especially with all the people that come out
Mm-hmm.
because the place is just packed. And you're like,
Dude, they love strongman up there.
wow. So
And
it's neat.
the toughest thing, like I know when you did it, it was on the Arnold circuit, wasn't it? No, not yet. Before that. Now it's not on the Arnold circuit, but it's like all the promotions in French.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I don't know. I think that might be why most people don't know about this show. They don't know how cool it is.
Yeah.
We were talking to JF about like let's see if we can get some like English commentary going on the live stream because he's doing his own stream this year
Yeah.
and he's down. So like we'll see. It was just made for French Canadian TV,
Yeah.
so nobody saw it. But like, God, it's one of the coolest
I have
shows.
to do the live stream. That I would go up and
Yeah.
If you're listening, Nick would love to do the competition on the live stream.
Yeah, no, he
Throw it out there.
he was talking about it. Yeah, man, he's
especially if you do the freaking road barrel thing. That's
it's such a cool event.
that would be one I would want to go just fucking jump into.
Give him
on
see how it goes.
yeah, because that was just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
That's just pure joy. And it's funny because when I was up there, and I think Anthony Sperno was up there that year, and he was like a new kid who just got his pro card, and strong, a lot of potential, strong kid, but just reckless.
yeah.
And I'm like, dude, don't pull that hard. Don't do
Pull
that.
it hard.
Get into it, and then
Mhm.
like get it off the ground, but make sure your arms are straight before you pull it off, and build the power into it. Don't just yank it off the ground. And yank that off the ground to his bicep.
Of course.
You're just like, what are you doing? And then he's gonna keep going, and it's just like, dude,
Yeah, it took
stop.
I think it did a partial tear on one of the guy's biceps up there.
Mm,
Yanked it.
mm-mm,
He's too damn heavy for that.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
But you don't put that kind of power
Yeah.
into something
Yes, that.
that fast.
With that show, I cannot like thank JF enough. Like that was like the first person to actually like invite me to like a non-strongman core pro show. Like
Right.
he's like, I'll help you fly out. Like, and I was like a fill-in because Bobby pulled out. And he's like, you can go. And I was like, okay, cool. He was the first person to let me go to a pro show. And like, I'm lined up. I think it was first event Max Locke ended up doing the same. I can't remember who had the record before. I think it was like Radzikowski on that log. He's like 440. And me and Trey tied at 440 on the same log. And like the next event, I'm head to head with Trey. I'm like, dude, I was at local shows like 6 months ago. I was like, thank you, JF. But like, I got a chance to go with those guys and I was hanging with them. Like, I think that's one of my biggest things that's hard in this stage is like, there's this tier of like 30 pros that kind of live in their own ecosystem of shows. And those opportunities to compete with them are so rare. And you just got to take them when they come.
Yeah, and you got them. You're going to the Arnold.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna be another big.
Dude, can't wait.
Big deal. And if you go in there and make the top 5 in that,
yeah,
you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Or I mean, even if you go in there and you don't make the top 5, and you just perform well and come in as a professional, and then you interact with the crowd and do stuff like that, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But I think you're gonna finish a little better.
I think so. Let's see the events.
So
I hope they give me a squat. I love that they had that max squat. I feel like I do better in that group with a squat than with a deadlift. Like I love the old Hummer tire, but
mm,
because I ramp the shit out of it.
right.
Yeah. But no, we'll see the events.
But with that, I mean, it, they allow figure eights, so there's some room there.
Mhm,
In the contests that don't, there's still ways around that. There's a way to tie
mhm.
your grips in. I showed Hooper, and then Hooper put it on a video. It's like I learned this from Nick.
It's like,
But there's a way to tie that strap in where it's
uh,
every bit as good as
yeah.
the figure eights, except for you can actually let go of the bar and not
Mhm,
take a face plant if something
yeah.
goes wrong.
Well, it's like I mean Brian's big on not having them, and like
Hmm.
Novikov still found a way to get the straps a little loose for that 12-10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
He's one of my favorite guys. He's how many events has he made them change the rules for? There's been a few.
Quite a few.
Yeah, Wheel of Pain, they changed it because of
Mhm.
him. Like, I mean, he's just creative, man. Or the
Well,
flag hoist at Wuss, they changed it
yeah.
because of him.
Did you see what he did for the arm over arm at the Shaw this year?
No, I didn't.
So his grip started giving out on him.
Hmm.
He throws the rope around his back, pulls it this way, and leans into it. Gets it going, pulls it down, leans into it, pulls it down. So that'll be a rule change next year.
You think so?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
Brian wasn't a fan.
no, I just know he's going to go back. He'll look at things, and that'll be a rule next
Yeah.
year. I don't think Brian was so into his last show and doing so many things with running it. I don't think that popped up on his radar right then and there. But
Sure.
it will.
But it's like,
On the year in review, he's like,
Because Brian's probably in the stage where he's reviewing stuff from last year.
hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, we just ate at the Heart Attack Grill about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to take a little.
and we learned, Nick's not a big fan of ketchup, maybe a little mustard, but definitely not mayo.
Yeah. Kind of sprayed me a little bit with the
Oh yeah.
with the
Well,
ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So that
That place is good though.
it
It's
is.
a lot.
It
Work.
is.
It's work. It's not a meal. It's work.
yeah,
But if you don't eat all your food, they spank you.
Yeah.
I recommend eating all your food.
Yeah.
Those girls have
Finishing
anger
your food.
issues. Like seriously.
Yeah.
So
That's a Fremont experience.
yeah, no kidding. Um so coming in and doing that in 3 years worth of work
Hmm.
and stuff like that and placing it, it just makes you appreciate it that
Yeah.
much more, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Now it's going to come to still getting into the bigger shows and
Mhm.
keep getting into the bigger shows, which I don't see having an issue with.
Mhm.
If you like the Arnold's going to be a good, I would put everything into
Oh
that.
yeah.
And the faster you can get the events from them,
Yeah.
the better. If you know other guys that are getting invited that aren't doing other shows before that, look and see what they're training.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done some.
Like for Worlds, we used to watch what the English guys were doing.
Yeah. Some
Oh,
subtle hints.
we have these events, and you're just like, so you start watching Tom and Laws and Jerry and see what they're doing. You're like, okay, well, I should probably start training in this direction.
Sure. It sounds like we're like a week or two out from events as far as the athletes knowing.
Right.
The only person who's really trained any events and said that's what they're training for is
Mhm.
Thor. But he posted it through his gym's page.
Yeah.
It's like Thor finally already prepping for the Arnold, but he's doing the log and dumbbell, which I think that's just a safe bet with the Arnold in general,
Yeah.
especially doing 2 Arnolds 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
One of them's probably gonna have a log.
Yeah.
They love a dumbbell,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, it's a. I'll be looking.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
Just a word of advice.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you might want to give a phone call to Nick once you find out what the events are. There's some secrets in there.
Yeah. You've been on some of the equipment, yeah.
Most of it.
Yeah.
It's been pretty crazy. Yeah, I got to the Arnold twice, the big Arnold twice, and then I
Mhm.
was an alternate one year.
Mhm.
The Bale Tote year, I was the alternate.
Didn't get in on that?
Well,
Did you test it?
yeah, I was the one that wrecked it for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was probably 310, and Dr. Todd had me come out, and there was a wheelbarrow carry that was at the Fit Expo that year,
Hmm.
and the top two got into the Arnold, and the third was going to be the alternate,
Sure.
and Jerry won that event, Pritchett,
Hmm.
and I was at the last. I loaded the last sandbag or keg, and picked it from the ground, and I was 10 seconds ahead of where he was,
Mhm.
and the handle came off
Oh,
because they pounded the handles on.
yeah.
They didn't put a pin in there to make sure they wouldn't come
Will
off.
they let you or make you rerun it?
Mm-mm.
No.
That was
It
it.
is what it is.
It is what it is, and that dropped me 4 points back and put Jerry and
Mhm.
Dimitar ahead of me, and they both got in there. But I did get to go be the tester, so I got to fly out 3 weeks before, test the bell tote at like 1300 was the first like test at it. I'm like,
Mhm.
and he's just like, okay, all right, that seemed pretty easy. What do you think? I go, the frame bows a little bit,
Mhm.
so you got to set the pick lower.
Yeah.
And he's like, looking at me like this, lower. I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna get it off the ground. When that gets heavy,
It'll sit
it'll
on the
settle.
ground.
And
Yeah.
it's exactly what happened. I had to set my pick an inch and a half lower.
Yeah.
Each thing was at a half inch, an inch and a half lower to make sure it didn't hit the
Mhm.
ground when it came off. But I picked it at the 1500, then I picked it at like 15, like with the last build that they did was like 1560 something.
Yeah.
That was my last pick.
Yeah.
And I got 3 steps in, and Dr. Todd was like, down, put it down, put it down. I'm like, why? And I'm like wobbling, but I'm moving.
Yeah. Give it a shot. Yeah.
Why? He's like, you're an alternate. What you heard? I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. So me at 300 being able to pick it up and actually move with it, he was like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Yeah. Me and Alec just did a sit down for my YouTube, and
Mhm.
we're like, we don't know the events yet, but we went back and did our top 5 favorite events in the past, or what we'd like to see. And that was one of mine. It's like I know the Bale Tote destroyed people. I want to try it. I want to know what it feels like, man. Like,
It's
I mean, it's the thing that hurt uh
we're Jerry.
Jerry, hurt Belsack,
Yep.
and then Zadrunas in an interview said his back has never really been the same since that.
Since
Yeah, like there's a reason it hasn't come back. The dumb part of me wants to try it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I can speak to having the fun part.
Yeah, like
I'm a very like dumb part when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, like the hip lifts and stuff like that were
mm,
pretty crazy for me.
'cause you did that one in Australia, yeah.
Some Jenkins and I tied. They ran out of
Jenkins.
weight. They ran
They
out of
just
weight.
ran out of weight.
They ran out of weight.
That's a really cool problem to have.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is they were using rubber mats, which in hindsight they probably would have made plywood squares
Sure.
instead of the rubber mat. And the heavier it got, we had to keep. I had like this many mats in there
Mm-hmm.
for me to get the angle right to where I could get it off the ground. And the rim of my shoe, the whole like bottom part of the white part of the
Mhm.
sole would disappear into the mat.
So you got this like cushion you got to push through,
Yeah,
and then you
exactly.
break the floor.
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
So that was kind of crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
it really was, but it was neat.
Yeah, I'm sure of those weird ones, the one I'd like to try is a backlift.
Mhm.
I know it's kind of dumb and definitely hurts, but
Yeah.
the one they did at Fortissimus is cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's my favorite old show to watch.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then I remember after the last one, Brian competed with me, and it was the last time I was able to beat Brian, by the way.
Sold that
It
over.
was 2009.
Yeah.
So that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we did a Super Series contest in Romania,
hmm
and his eyes were still like all the whites on his eyes were red
Yeah.
from that back, like completely red, just bloodshot. And you're just like, "Are you okay?" You look at it, you're like, "Are you okay?"
I think so. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, "Yeah." And I got second in that show, and then God, I got his name right on the top of my tongue. I can see his face clear as day. He ended up winning
Mhm.
by a point, and then he got the invite to Worlds from that show.
Yeah.
And then Colin's like, "Sorry, man, maybe next year." And then the next year I win the Fit Expo, and he calls me. He's like, "All right," because it's like one of those things. They still had special invites. He goes, "All right, dude, you've done enough. You're in. Just get ready."
Yeah.
And so I had a while to get ready. No idea what the events were, but I still got ready.
Mm. Do you think it's better off the way, like, because I know the Arnold Super Series, it seems like there was a bigger like qualification system as opposed to like I know 2020 killed a lot of that stuff.
Mhm.
Do you think it's better off with just invites or with like the series how they used to do it?
For which?
Or I guess in the case of the Arnold, but
In the case
they
of
did
the
it for
Arnold,
Super Series too for Worlds as well.
well, yeah, that was Super Series with the Giants Live.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
one into the next.
like that was Ode, Ulf, and Colin,
Mm-hmm.
and then Colin
Did
went
his
off,
thing and
went off on his own and eventually got in with Darren, and now Giants is what Giants is.
Yeah.
But it was the same. You
Yeah.
went there, you did well, you qualified to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then there was still, you can only do so many of those shows. So there were still invites. I mean, even now, there's still special invites to Worlds because there's what, 4 or 5 Giants Live shows a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think 2 of them are specific to just Europeans or from Britain.
Correct.
So,
but it's still, that's top 3 are automatically qualified. So that's 15 spots.
It's true.
Then you got the winner. So that's 16. You got former winners that are on it. So Novikov and Stoltman, if he doesn't win with the qualifiers, which he does. So, and then Brian, when he wanted to go, that's former winners are, if you're in shape, you can go. So you're still looking at,
it could be 10, 12, 13
positions
guys that get invited just for merit of other things.
Yes.
That's true.
So you still got that opportunity, which I was trying to explain it to that kid this morning. It's like, no, just keep doing good.
Keep rolling.
And whatever the shows are. It's like, good. It's like the generation is so instant gratification. It's like, wow, it used to take like 5 to 10 years to get in here.
Yeah.
But now it's much easier to get into Worlds.
Yeah. What I think I see like Evan Singleton or something, and they're like 2-3 years in, he was already at Worlds. It's like, it's not normal.
Yeah.
It's like just because a couple people have done it doesn't mean that's the path. Like, how many dudes took 10 years to even get their first Giants? Right? Like,
well, I think it depends on what kind of strength level you walk in with.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, Adam was really trying to look at hoop.
Yeah. Man came out of almost nowhere.
Yeah. Second year champ, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's kind of like, if you're that strong, there is the ability now to get recognized and get in much quicker than in the past.
Sure.
So it's kind of, that part's kind of nice.
Yeah. And like guys too will be like, well, I can do this yoke that the guys at Worlds can do. Like, but it's like the deadlift and the press. Like there's things that take the years to develop.
It's more than one event.
Yeah.
You got to be good at a lot of them.
It's like, oh, like if that 900 to 1,000 deadlift is normal, like, yeah, you can do it if you have the years. Yeah. It's just like, it's not going to happen in 2.
Yeah. So you already put in your work over here.
Yeah.
And then you start your strong way.
Yeah. No, I mean, I couldn't be more thankful for like, there's a lot of ways in.
Because how old are you now?
28.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think my physically strongest year so far was 48.
Yeah.
I was still really, really strong at 50.
Was that like 2016, 2017? Something like that. 16?
17.
I was gonna say, that was like
17
when a lot of your wins and stuff were.
17 was the year I got to the finals.
Yeah.
But I tore my calf, flipping the tire.
Yeah.
I still got through the whole rest of the show, but you're still
you're not going to be in it in the final.
Well, I was in the final.
Well, yeah, but like
I wasn't going to be.
You're not going to be in contention, yeah.
But
it's always too tight.
And that's something else. It's kind of like one of those things where I was trying to explain it to Iron BB this year. She goes, "Oh, my bicep," and I'm like, "Dude, you're still not a world's strongest man competitor.
Yeah.
There's no place you can go where it shows you're on the lift. You're a strongman, you're a professional strongman, but you're not a world's strongest man competitor. Even if your biceps injured, do the show, because all throughout history from that point on, once your name's on that list as a world's strongest man competitor, you're a world's strongest man competitor till the day you die."
Yeah.
You know,
like, and and guys like me, like my promoters have reached out, and I'm like, for me, it's like I'm like, I beat 7 of those guys, and but like forever, those guys will be world's strongest man competitors, and like, I don't know, like I feel like there's a show to not come off the gas or to take the risk. You're at the big show. That's the one we're all trying to get to.
Yeah.
Like that, or like the Arnold Classic, or like
or
those big 4,
or Brian shows.
Yeah,
Brian shows
or Rogue, like those big 4. You're at the dream show. There's nothing else. Like, if I tweak something in the world, I'm doing those shows.
Yeah,
right.
It's going to show you his on history. Just like I remember what was it? What year was it? I think we were in China, so it's 13, and Kukliev had messed up his arm pretty bad in the qualifying heats, and he'd won his heat, so he's in the final. And somebody was trying to talk him out of that so someone else can go in there. And I remember Magnus walking up to him. He goes, "If you pull out, you won't be a world's strongest. It won't show as a world's strongest man finalist this year. You'll be in the top 10 in the world." He goes, "Even injured, you go do it. You're still
a finalist.
You're still in the top 10." He goes, "You don't do it. Now you're not in the top 10."
Yeah.
He goes, "History will show that as always," which
I
was like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's dudes that go down as like legends of the sport that like the biggest thing they did was make the final. Like that's still huge. Like, I mean, people are skewed by like your Stoltmans and Thors and stuff, but like I was thinking like, well, Terry Owens, he got on the podium once, didn't he? Twice. But it's like guys like that just making the final for years and years and years. Like that's people don't give that enough credit. It's like, dude, I mean, I think
it's almost percentage of the world right there.
Yeah, dude. Even being like the alternate for worlds one time.
Yeah,
like you are in the 1% of the 1% of the sport. Like it's still that's people's dream.
Yeah,
still.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, is that okay?
Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay. I still looked at. I mean, I always try to be the best, absolute best that I could be.
Yeah.
I had my weaknesses. Overhead's a weakness for me. Couldn't tell you why.
Yeah.
There's a point in time where I could bench like without a shirt on. The most I've done was 635.
Yeah.
But it never translated into overhead.
And you always had a big squat. It was strange that you couldn't get a leg drive.
Yeah.
Just some disconnect. Just never clicked.
Never clicked, or it was a range of motion movement. My lat, like the difference in flexibility on this arm and this arm. Yeah. And this is the one I haven't torn.
Yeah.
This is the one I had fixed.
Yeah, that's way better.
But this one goes up.
Yeah.
And so now my overhead pressing is it's actually better than it was, but it's still so it was always I was gonna lose points there and I had to be great at everything else to make us everywhere else. And
so, with you going into the Arnold right now, like, and you're gonna get advice from a lot of people out there, but the thing is like sometimes, like you were saying, sometimes it's skewed. If you wanted to ask something, and like I said, you got a legend right in front of you. What is something that you need to know in like in a mindset or just in coming into a major show like this? Because like I said, you just won America's Strongest Man, and now you got the invite to the Arnold, and it's like,
it's like I mean you've been through that of like that early stage of getting into the big shows. Like, were there things that you did that was like a stumbling block, or you do it differently if you could do it again?
I think the only real thing I would do differently is once you start getting there, you're so excited that you're getting invited to those shows that you take them all up on it.
Yeah.
You got to pick and choose.
Yeah.
That is the one thing
that year can fill up really fast.
Oh, well, that's where you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, still, you can do. You don't want to go just getting in. Your third year in, your second or third year in, where everybody knows you're fucking.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Everybody knows you're really solid, really good. At that point, you just got to chill out because you're gonna get invited to everything. Like, hey, I'd love to, but it kind of conflicts this, and I don't feel my body's gonna be ready. But I'm gonna plan on that for next year. But for this year, I'm gonna pass.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to give up some opportunities in there that you don't want to, but your body's gonna hold together, and then you can maintain that high level of placing at each one that you go to, so that when you do, you tell them, hey, I'll hit it next year, and then you push off a different show for the following year.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be, I've seen the most fatal mistakes made there. I mean, Klitschkowski was hitting everything and then got pretty seriously injured. And then now he's still not what he was. I mean, I love that guy. I mean, his attitude, he's a great kid. I call him a kid.
Everyone's a kid.
But he's a kid. I've seen a lot of guys come in, make a splash, and then all of a sudden, I mean, look at Evan when he first came in, started getting invited to everything, started doing everything. And then all of a sudden his performance started doing this, and then he come back and started doing more planning and better shows. Everybody knows how good he is, so he gets the invite. Some things he's going to, and some things he's not.
But yeah.
He's finally figured that balance out. That's the
Mhm.
hardest thing to do is, "Oh, I made it. I
Yeah.
got an invite. And, okay, take that one. And then now you got another one. And you still got to have enough time
Fair.
to heal from the contest that you did, get back to training, get strong, and do
Mhm.
another contest.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to learn to function at about a 6 week level. If you can hold your body's conditioning at 6 weeks out from a show at all times, which is quite easy to
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
that's where you want to live.
Fair enough.
And then you make sure you have a week or two of healing
Mhm.
after the contest, and then if it's worse, a month.
Yeah.
And then, because like the biggest issues I had with doing the Arnold was the Fit Expo was probably the second heaviest contest in the United States at that time.
Mhm.
And I mean, we had to do a 1,000 pound 16-inch deadlift
Yeah.
with a stiff bar.
Cool.
You know, so it's a partial deadlift, but
Still, you gotta feel it.
Felix and I tied it like 1,003, and then Terry pulled 1,025, and then we did a stone over bar. I think the stone was like 380 or something like
Mhm.
that for reps
Yeah.
as the last event, and then the yoke was like 1,000 and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and it was just the farmers was like 400 a hand.
Yeah.
You know, it was a brutal contest, and you were just like, you're just getting recovered, and you're at the Arnold, and it's like you never feel like you can hit that at full speed.
Yeah.
You know,
Like coming off the last thing.
if there was like an extra 5 weeks in there,
Mhm.
then I could feel like I could hit that
For
at
sure.
full speed. But that was one of those where you get the opportunity to get in, you go, and you just give it everything you got,
Yeah.
and you
Mhm.
take what's there. But if I was going to say that would be something that I
Sure.
would
Just be more
kind of watch out
strategic.
for.
Yeah.
Be very strategic.
Yeah. It's
Because
gonna be.
once you have the goods and everybody knows you
Mhm.
have the goods and they know now you have the goods,
Mhm.
and then they see you work with the crowd and work with people, and
Sure.
not only that, being able to get yourself in the competitive mind yet still be uh, audience aware
Yeah. Yeah.
at the same time, to where you don't need to go out and be like a WWE superstar, but if you go over and deal with the crowd and
Mhm.
have fun with the crowd a little bit as you're competing, just does miles, and it brings more people into the sport
Sure.
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's worse than the dudes that just sit in the back and do nothing and
Yeah.
don't acknowledge the crowd. It's like
Yeah. They pay for
they
it.
paid for the seats.
Yeah. Admittedly, that's gonna be probably the biggest learning curve for me.
Um,
Gotta learn on that. Like,
it's really
just
not.
have fun with it.
Yeah, just go out
You
and
can
have
tell
fun.
who does it in a genuine way, and they're just
Mhm.
having fun. And like, and that's where I'm at. Like, this show coming up with the Arnold, like, get to compete against dudes that I watched on TV for
Yeah,
the last 10 years. Like, I
we're
gotta
gonna
be
do that in the UK too. So the fans there
there's
are
tons. Yeah,
it's yeah,
just
it's crazy.
just gotta believe like I'm there for a reason.
Yeah,
I can hang with those
mhm.
dudes and enjoy it, enjoy the crowd.
Well,
Like,
you can hang with the dudes. You've
there's
already done
yeah, like
it.
it's yeah, I think the last person I'm trying to convince is myself. But
I'm
I'm in the
convinced.
game, right?
You're sitting in here. I'm
I got
convinced.
my spot, and it's gonna be awesome, man. I can't
If
wait.
you're pressing 440 live with training and then still,
Yeah,
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 you're fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
You're
think
doing
you're
all
gonna
right.
be, I think you're gonna be okay.
I think give me 18 months, 2 years to build the deadlift. Like that could be a real problem for these dudes.
Yeah.
It's just everybody's got that one thing that they're working on. Like I can't arm over arm. I don't know why I can't do this. Everybody's got that one event. Arm over arm is not my event.
So what does that mean?
I gotta work on it. Don't suck at an event 2,
So
3 years in a row.
how often are you training on the room?
Gotta try. Well, off season our plan is to just have it in. We'd have stones.
Well, every other week.
Yeah, because it's just
Do it
gonna be.
just throw it in every other week.
Yeah, it's gonna be in shows.
And
It's never
then
gonna go away.
1 week make it light
Yeah,
to where it's light and you gotta go fast,
yeah,
because that happens occasionally.
hmm
And then the next week, 2 weeks later, make it a heavy one
yeah,
to where you can barely move the tape.
yeah,
and
man.
and train it both ways, because like Warwick one year we had an arm over arm
hmm
and it was uphill.
Slow crawl,
So
slow
that
death
was
crawl.
nobody finished and it was
hmm
brutal. And then the next year it was slightly downhill
So
and it was fast as heck. So you never know what you get your hands on. So train one slow, train one fast.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just those couple events, gotta keep working them and, you know.
And the deadlift comes with time.
Yeah,
and
it just need the reps, need the time.
time, the core conditioning, stuff like that. How often are you training your abs?
Twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're on a good pace with deadlift. Like,
Side bends,
yeah,
trunk twists.
I did a lot of rotational stuff. I was a thrower,
Okay.
so like
Okay, good.
rotational strength is
That's where
like,
the power comes from.
yeah, I did shot this camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I for some reason deadlift just didn't come natural to me. Like I was after college, like I was a strong lifter,
Mhm.
barely deadlifted 500, but I could squat 6. I could do all the others. I mean, I don't think I did enough time with the deadlift in college.
You probably didn't play with it that much either.
No, a lot of Olympic lifting and stuff like that. And now, a year and a half ago, the max was like around 700, and now it's like 850 for reps is pretty normal, right? And so, give it, a year or two more, we'll get into that 900 raw range, and that's kind of where a lot of these guys are at.
Mm-hmm.
So, aside from a couple of those freaks that are,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, that era of everyone
But-
pulling 1,000's kind of gone.
but even then, they still have things that
They have holes too.
they have holes. They might not be as fast on their feet. They're
Yeah.
not quick. They might not last in the medleys.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, no, I'm excited, man.
yeah, me too. It's been fun.
It's a really fun phase right now.
Yeah.
Just enjoying it.
Well, and that's great. And it's a fun phase, everything coming in. But Nick, we all as much and as much fun as all these are, we always got to end it. And Nick has a famous thing, and it holds true to everything that you're talking about here and what you want to do. So Nick, let the fans know.
Well, first I'm going to say go follow Lucas.
Link will be in the
Yes.
notes. I always say it, but I do it.
Just started up my YouTube.
Yeah,
You're doing
just
my
go
thing
to
on
YouTube,
Instagram.
go follow him on Instagram. Anything else you're on?
Those are the main two right now.
Okay.
So it's just Lucas.Hatton on
Get on
Instagram.
Facebook.
Yes,
Yeah.
Get Facebook going.
very, very important.
You can monetize Facebook as well.
Okay.
So get on that and do that. So YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, those are the three.
Yeah.
You can still kind of monetize TikTok, but
It's not the same thing.
it's not very good. Or at least my experience with it.
Mhm.
But get those done. Go follow him, please. And if you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And click the little button to get it in the notices, as always. And as always, train hard, train smart, and be the absolute best.